absolutely hammering it down, wasn't it?
Yeah, my problem is I don't think they're allowed to stand behind the goal, actually, otherwise there'd probably be a few more there, a few of the hardcore fans, but yeah, they all seem to be compact in the far corner from us. I think from the last few minutes or so, quite a few more fans coming clearly from the pub.
Well, yeah, that's another that we've been seeing tweets all morning from fans who left at 6:30. Some of them have been drinking since 6:30.
There's probably about a good maybe 150, 160 Maidstone supporters that come out this afternoon, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be too unhappy about the seating arrangements. Actually, right, we are just about ready to get underway. Macclesfield will be kicking off. They'll be kicking towards the as we look at it, they'll be kicking right to left in his first half. And then Maidstone will be attacking the vacant away end. And early attack here by Macclesfield. The number 16, Mitch Hancock, will play it back to the number 7, and Morgan will rise and claim that fairly easily. Elliot Durrell's cross that was that Morgan claimed. And just an early scare for Maidstone there as the ball squirmed into the penalty area, but walked live to the danger. And pretty much all of the Macclesfield fans that were on the terraced area are now making their way towards the seated accommodation because the rain continues to fall here. So we'll see if it has any effect on the playing surface. And Maidstone have a throw-in midway inside the Macclesfield half, which will be taken by Anderson. And Anderson just takes it short to Joe Piggott. Piggott, of course, will be the target man today in the absence of Delano Sam York. And Zavon Hines gets his first touch of the ball, throwing it short in the direction of Jay Reason. And it's cleared by Durrell. Durrell knocks it downfield. It'll be intercepted by Winter. He was aiming for Scott Wilson. And there's a foul there on Hines. And he was suggesting that Zavon went down easily for a challenge that got one of the Macclesfield
when
players.
does he ever do that, eh?
Well, here's Reason with a free kick for Maidstone, deep into the area. It's flicked on and just drifts through to Jalal, the Macclesfield keeper. I think it was never in any danger of troubling the keeper. And Maidstone have a throw-in deep inside their own half, which will be taken by Seth Nana Twomasi. Steals a couple of yards, throws it forward in the direction of Piggott, and it's headed out by the number 11, Ryan Lloyd. Maidstone will have a throw-in just in front of the Macclesfield bench, which Twomasi will take. Twomasi's got Lewis in front of him, Piggott looking for the ball as well, and also Johan ter Horst. And the ball is thrown forward in the direction of Piggott. Actually falls for ter Horst. It's headed clear by a Macclesfield defender. Lloyd then hoiks it downfield, and Magnus Okwenge can't get a good touch on that, so he'll go out for a throw-in, maybe 10 yards inside the Maidstone half. And Fitzpatrick will take it for Macclesfield. He's looking to get Lloyd down the line, but instead he's going to throw it short, I think. In fact, he's taking his time over this, and it is Lloyd that he finds. Lloyd will play it back to Danny Whittaker, and Whittaker will spread it out wide to the number 14, No Baba. And now Macclesfield on the attack on the right-hand side. Winter trying to, tussling for possession there, and in the end, he does well there, Winter, because he has Scott Burgess breathing down his neck.
Just got to throw bodies in there, really, and Maidstone certainly going to have to rely on Joe Piggott a lot today, because without the absence of Delano Sam York. So, like I said before, we've lost a bit of physicality, but hopefully he'll be able to get a little bit of freedom up front today.
Twomasi hooking it clear after being put under a bit of pressure there. It'll come down deep inside the Macclesfield half, and it'll be hooked clear by the number 3, Dave Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick on the ball again now. He is blocked by ter Horst, and now there's a slightly risky back pass there from Fitzpatrick to Jalal, which Piggott decided to chase after, and there wasn't a lot of margin for error there for Jalal, but he got it clear. And now Macclesfield have a throw on the halfway line, which Fitzpatrick will take, and Reason will pick it up for Maidstone. Goes to Stuart Lewis. Lewis to Zavon Hines, and Hines thinks about releasing ter Horst down the right hand side. Instead he tries to take on Burgess, and Burgess puts it out for a Maidstone throw in, maybe 3 or 4 yards inside the Macclesfield half. Twomasi will take this for Maidstone. He'll play it for Lewis, back to Twomasi. Twomasi will get another throw in for Maidstone in almost an identical position, just between the dugouts here. Twomasi back in the side because of that I think there's a groin injury to Josh Hare, which he sustained at Eastleigh, and there will be a throw-in to Macclesfield deep inside their own half.
Well, I'm hoping Seth Tomasi settles into the game quite quick, because don't forget he hasn't played a lot of football lately. I don't think he started a game since Ebbsfleet, so hopefully he'll settle into it really quickly.
Where's that? I've never heard of Ebbsfleet, I have to say.
Gravesend Northfield. I do apologise.
Yes, he did have a slightly rough time of it at Stonebridge Road, Seth. He was probably at fault for the opening goal there. It's back to Hancock's, and it's knocked into the area, but Winter will head that clear. Zavon Hines will pick it up, but he's under a bit of pressure there, and he's lost out, Zavon Hines. And it's now with Macclesfield's no Baba. Baba will cross, looking to the number 9, and there's a handball in the area, I think, but it's not been given. I have to say, I thought that maybe Scott Wilson handled that, but no.
I have to say, Magnus Okwonge did very well there, because Scott Wilson tried to turn him, and he just managed to hold him back and slide in to get the tackle in. And that was a really crucial one. I think Wilson would have been in otherwise.
Yeah, he may have hit him on the side actually, because absolutely no one appealed for a foul. So here's Tomasi with the throw-in for Maidstone, aimed at Piggott, and he'll go back to Lewis, and he will knock it forward, looking for Johan ter Horst, and ter Horst is a shout for handball against him. It's not given. Lewis will knock it forward for Piggott, but it's overhit, and Lewis just sort of puts his hand up to Piggott to say sorry there. I think if anything he was very slightly off balance when he tried to play that forwards, and it'll be bowled underarm by Jalal, and Macclesfield will come forward with Fitzpatrick, and in fact it was Kieran Kennedy, sorry, and now it's with Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick will knock it square to Whittaker, and Whittaker playing it in good football this by Macclesfield on the edge of the area, but Lewis intercepts. Lewis has to give it back to Lee Worgan, and Worgan will get a good distance on that, knocking it forwards. Fitzpatrick under a bit of pressure from Johan ter Horst here, and he's going to do well to keep that in. In fact, he just about kept it in, and then ter Horst, I thought, had knocked it out, but the linesman hasn't given it, and now Maidstone can attack through Joe Piggott down the left-hand side. Piggott on the edge of the area. He's got the Macclesfield number 4, Keith Lowe, in front of him, and Lowe will knock that out for a throw-in, and he managed to get a deflection off Piggott there, so it's going to be a Macclesfield throw level with the 6-yard line.
Yeah, Piggott seems a little bit isolated going for. I think he's going to have to rely on Johan making runs in behind, otherwise then he's just going to have a bit of a difficult afternoon, isn't he, trying to hold the ball up for no one, isn't he?
The Barmy Army are in full cry on the far side. Some of the fans, some of them have been drinking since 6:30 this morning apparently, and frankly it shows. Even from this distance they are in good spirits, it has to be said. And Davon Hines there can't keep that in. He's going to win a corner for Maidstone in front of that knot of travelling supporters, and there is segregation in place here at Moss Rose. That was one of the talking points of the week. All Maidstone games from now on will be segregated after a couple of fairly minor incidents against Woking. Let's see what Zavon can do with this corner. And he's going to knock it deep, looking for Winter, but it's not a great corner, that one. It's not really gone anywhere near a Maidstone player. And now the ball will go out for what looks like a Macclesfield throw.
Those ones never seem to work out where they try to hit it towards the edge of the box, really.
Could be danger here because here comes Scott Wilson, and referee saying that's a good challenge. I think it was Anderson that got the tackle in. I'm not quite sure because it's just it's a very good view up here in the press area, but there's just a couple of pillars in the way. And there was a moment of danger there for Maidstone because it looked like Wilson was going to get through. So I think it was Anderson that made the decisive challenge. And long ball forward from Worgan. And he's looking for Jay Reason. And I think he was just marginally off, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's correct decision by the linesman there. He was just slightly behind the defender there, last man, and free kick to Macclesfield right near the edge of their penalty area.
Well, there's a sort of small terraced area in front of this main stand, and that's where most of the noise from the Macclesfield fans is coming, and they are making a decent racket, has to be said here. Not quite sure what the crowd is, because it's always difficult to tell what an attendance is in a ground that you're not familiar with, but I would think it's around about the 2,000 mark, with possibly 150 from Maidstone, maybe slightly less. And Maidstone have a free kick on the halfway line, which it looks like Reece Prestige will take. In fact, he's leaving it for Magnus Okwenge. And it's about 1 yard inside the Macclesfield half, this. And Okwenge is looking to see what's in front of him. And Okwenge will knock it towards the far side of the penalty area, aiming for Piggott. Piggott will win the header, but it's cleared downfield, and now Wilson tries to pick it up for Macclesfield. It's cleared by Winter. Long ball towards the edge of the area. Could be trouble here for Macclesfield. Here comes Piggott trying to win it. Here comes Devon Hines. Devon Hines has scored! And it's 1-0 to Maidstone. A first-time shot from Devon Hines. It was a knockdown by Piggott, and an absolutely lethal right-foot shot from Devon Hines makes it 1-0 after 11 minutes.
Brilliant strike by Devon Hines. His third goal in the space of 3 games.
And Maidstone find themselves 1-0 ahead at Macclesfield after 11 minutes here.
Well, it's virtually come out of nowhere, really, hasn't it? Because there hasn't been any kick opportunities up until now.
Yes, I have to say it's been fairly tight up until now. Not too many clear-cut chances for either side. You would have said it was fairly even, but it was just that's the quality that Devon Hines has. And just a momentary panic there before Lee Morgan snuffed out a chance at the other end. Just for a second, it looked like Whittaker might be through one-on-one there, but I think the bounce of the ball, if anything, span away from him, and Morgan was able to collect. So Maidstone with this early lead here, attacking again. They've got a throw-in deep inside the Macclesfield half, and it looks like it'll be Zavon Hines himself who'll take it. In fact, he sort of feigns to take it and then drops the ball behind him so that Anderson can do the honours. Anderson throws it to Reason. Reason chests it down. It's knocked clear by Macclesfield in the direction of Wilson. Wilson does well to hold it up, but he's lost out to Winter. And Winter hooks it forward for Reason. Reason is shrugged off there by Macclesfield's Mitch Hancocks. And it's booted forward. In fact, it's just a bit of scrappy play here. It's all very up in the air. And Winter is going to have to do well to get under that. In fact, he's going to have to knock it out, is he? No. It's kept in by Anderson. Prestige plays a 1-2 with Anderson. Mason could do with getting it clear here. They've played it back to Hines, and it's going to be knocked forward. It'll be picked up by Baba from Macclesfield. Bounces a couple of times. Hancock gets ahead on it, but he heads it straight for Jay Reason. And Reason plays a 1-2 with Zavon Hines, but it'll go out for a Mason throw-in after Baba, I think it was, got the final touch.
Maidstone need to make sure that they build on this now, not try and sit back early on. It's important they try and go for that second goal, really, and you'd like to think now the momentum's with them, because I think Maidstone have started off really well, especially in, say, the conditions aren't the best in terms of the pitch. And yes, I think they've done really well. They've responded well since they've scored their goal.
That's what Devon Hines brings to the team. He's just got that sort of moment of magic in his locker. He saw it against Eastleigh
and Woking,
and against Woking as well. Really, he was slightly further out than against Woking. I think this time it's the first time he scored from outside the box. Anyway, it's a short throw-in taken to Derrell. And Durrell plays a return pass, gets it back. He's got 3 Mason players around him, but he still gets across in. Okwenge will head it clear. Reason, they'll try and hook it away. Only goes as far as Hancock, so he'll go back to Baba. Baba plays it back to Hancock. He will cross towards Lloyd on this left-hand side. And Macclesfield forced all the way back there, and Horst nearly managed to get that through to Piggott. And Macclesfield just about recover with Keith Lowe knocking it back to Jalal, and Jalal plays it forward to Kieran Kennedy. Kennedy takes about 20 yards in his stride and then knocks it wide to No Baba. And Baba, just under a little bit of pressure from Hines, will play it forward to Whittaker. And a good ball that, but well, it looked like a good ball when it left Whittaker's foot, but Burgess couldn't control it, and in the end it was intercepted by Magnus Okwenge, and it was cleared downfield And the ball is now back with Macclesfield's keeper, Shwan Jalal. Macclesfield in possession again, long ball forward. Just maybe slightly overhit there, but I think it's Hancock's has kept it in. So Maidstone will get the ball back, and now Hines will run with it into the Macclesfield half. And Maidstone have a throw in, maybe just about level with the centre circle. Anyway, Macclesfield in possession just inside their own half. It's rolled forward. Baba will pick it up. And Baba will play it back to Scott Burgess. Burgess looks for Whittaker. Whittaker knocks it back to Hancock's. Hancock's for the ball out wide to Fitzpatrick. And Fitzpatrick knocks it to the edge of the area where he looks for, well, it looks like it's Wilson in possession. He loses out. And a good strong challenge by Magnus Ekwenge. Hancock's picks the ball up. Good cross there. And it's just about intercepted by Joe Anderson. Slightly risky interception there on the edge of the area, but he's got away with it. And now Lewis pumps it forward, looking for Zavon Hines. I think he's overhit that, to be honest. And it will trickle out for a Macclesfield throw deep in their own half.
Well, we know Zavon Hines is that fast, but he's not that fast. He was never going to get onto that clearance. But I think it's important for this Mason this position, with the throwing being in line with the penalty area, to try and box him in a little bit. It's a good opportunity maybe to try and get the ball back in, create some pressure.
Okay, so it's Baba with the throw-in for Macclesfield, just level with their own penalty area. 19 minutes we've had here at Moss Rose. The scoreline, Macclesfield 0, Maidstone United 1. Zavon Hines on 11 minutes, giving Maidstone the lead. Here's Piggott for the Stones, edge of the area. Quite a few defenders in front of him. He thought for a second about shooting, and instead he's played it wide to Seth. And Seth will cross, and it's going to go to Johan ter Horst, and he's only just headed over there to Horst. I think the thing I liked about Seth, one thing I saw last season, was when we were at Lincoln, and we were having a pretty tough time of it. It was a difficult game to compete in, and Lee Morgan made an error, and I just like the way that Seth was the first person to get over to him and just sort of haul him up and say, look, you know, you've made a mistake, but let's just get on with it. It's, quite often in that situation you get people pointing fingers, and I just like the way that he kind of picked him up. And
I wish there were more people like him in football.
So yeah, it would be a better game all round, I think. But anyway, here's Macclesfield in possession just inside the Maidstone half. There's ball forward looking for Hancock's, I think it is. And Hancock's into the area, and a bit of a heavy touch there, and I think he's fouled Seth. Seth comes away with it anyway, and now Seth, with two Macclesfield players around him, manages to get it to Reason. Reason plays a pass that's too far behind to Horst, and now Macclesfield will get it back, and it's Lloyd attacking down the left-hand side, gets across him, but it's an easy interception for Ekwenge, and knocks it back to Stuart Lewis. Lewis chests it down. This is a pretty lame shout of handball from some of the fans, certainly not any of the players. And Maidstone will clear, and we'll get a throw in front of the Macclesfield dugout, roughly 10 yards inside the Macclesfield half. And it will be Seth Nana Twamasi who will take this throw in. And he's taking his time over it. Lewis clapping him on, encouraging him to get on with it. He throws it to Piggott. In fact, it's going to get through, or it nearly got through to Horst, but it was cleared by Kennedy. And Maidstone have another throw in about 10 yards further forward. And it's thrown to Piggott on the edge of the area. He's got Kennedy all over the back of him, but he keeps possession. And there are two players on him. He still somehow stumbles his way into keeping the ball. In the end, he's got no option, so he has to give it back to Anderson. Anderson with a chip to ter Horst, and ter Horst with a header, and ter Horst very nearly makes it 2-0 to Maidstone.
Well, that's a terrific ball there from Reece Prestage, looking for Johan ter Horst. I think if you'd rather had someone like Joe Pigg or maybe Delano Samuel, but I don't think he could do much more there, Johan.
It was a difficult sort of skill to get it on target when you're off balance like that, which to Horse did. Maidstone have a corner. Twomasi to Reason. Reason thinks about giving it back to Twomasi. Instead he goes for the far post, where it's flicked onto the Horse, and to Horse this time scuffs it, and it's 2-0, and it's Winter with a goal after the scuff by Johan to Horse, but it was a visionary miss hit, if you like, because it's gone straight to Winter, and Winter has just poked it in with his right foot to make it 2-0 to Maidstone. And at the moment, all of the noise is coming from the away end. Of course, the moment I said that, the home end starts singing. And they can make quite a din here, the Macclesfield fans. They're certainly doing that in front of us now. So let's see how they respond. Maidstone 2-0 ahead here, away to Macclesfield Town. Remember, this is a venue where Maidstone lost 3-0 last season. And Wilson loses possession to Horst. It's back to Kennedy, to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick will knock it forward. It'll come off to Horst, and it'll go out for a Macclesfield throw-in.
Number 5, Alex Winter.
So the Tannoy man just confirming that Alex Winter, the scorer, on 25 minutes there for Maidstone, making it 2-0 here. Jay Reason, a good bit of skill there. Just a little pivot, gets it back to Twomasi, knocks it forward looking for Piggott. The header's won by Kennedy. It'll go back to Reece Prestige, and Prestige just under a little bit of trouble there. Just thought about giving it back to Lee Morgan. In the end, it's not a great pass back by Winter, and Morgan just about gets it clear. There's a bit of a muddled piece of play that by Maidstone. And now Anderson's under a lot of pressure, and Anderson will just about get it downfield looking for Hines. And Hines, I think, was tripped there, but the ball will run for Stuart Lewis. Lewis to Piggott, and Piggott to Hines. He's going to lose possession there, and it's a shame because it was just about an inch too far in front of him. Maidstone would have been in a very good situation there. As it is, Winter has lost out here, and he's got a lucky bounce really, because that's bounced off Wilson and off. And if Wilson had had just a fractionally better control there, that would have been dangerous.
Well, the one man Maidstone can't get the ball to is Scott Wilson.
Baba with a throw into Whittaker. Whittaker will knock it forward looking for Wilson, but he'll go straight through to Lee Morgan. And if it stays like this, it won't be too long before the home fans start getting frustrated.
Well, I think they were getting frustrated after the second goal had gone in.
So the only problem with scoring this early is that it does sort of, you get the kind of grandstand finish, don't you? If they pull one back, it can change the momentum. Anyway, here come Macclesfield on the attack with Lloyd on the left-hand side. Lloyd's going to try and keep that in. He does. It's a decent cross. It's headed clear by Fantasequenge, only as far as Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick thinks about putting it back in, gives it back to Lloyd, but Lloyd has quite cleverly been caught offside there by Maidstone. He's almost right up against the touchline here, but he gets a lot of distance on this free kick. Horst goes up for it. Fitzpatrick wins the header. It'll fall for Twomasi. Twomasi will knock it forward. Reason bursting through onto that one. Reason on the edge of the area, and a Reason crosses. It's not the greatest of passes, but Lewis will pick it up. Lewis can give it back to Reason if he wants to. Reason right wing position, crosses for Piggott. Piggott with a header, and Piggott only just misses. Absolutely nobody near him, and again he's missed by a matter of inches.
How often do you get a free header inside the 6-yard box there? And I think the cross a little bit overhit for him, but he's managed to rise up to that. Unfortunately for Piggott, his header's just slightly wide.
Well, it was a pretty well directed header, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
It was almost as if he couldn't believe how much time he had, because he might have had time to bring that down and take a shot. He had so much room. But anyway, here come Macclesfield with Elliot Durrell. Durrell wins a corner. And I think I'm right in saying that might be Macclesfield's first corner of the game. I'm not absolutely sure about that. There may have been one earlier on. So 28 minutes gone here. Macclesfield 0, Maidstone 2, but Macclesfield have a corner here, which Elliot Durrell will take. And Durrell just taking his time, putting ball down on the spot, looking to see what options he has in the area. He plays it short in the end, and there's a collective groan around the main stand as Winter clears it, but he only gets it as far as Whittaker. So Durrell will get another chance to cross here. It's a better one this time. Headed back into the danger area, but there's an offside flag up. It was probably the right thing for Kennedy to do, because he was putting it back into the area known as the mixer. But there was an offside flag up, and Maidstone will get a free kick.
We'll get it to another good line there from Maidstone United. I think they've played the offside trap quite well actually so far, and they've kind of been forcing Macclesfield to kind of make no errors, haven't they? Yeah, definitely. And Maidstone United certainly keeping intact with their 2-0 lead, in which they've looked quite comfortable, to be honest, in part so far.
It's the old Colchester combination of Ekwenge and Winter at the back line, which is keeping a very good player in Alex Finney out of the side. And certainly the way that Alex Finney started the season, you certainly have no qualms if he had to go in there. But anyway, Maidstone have a throw in deep inside the Macclesfield half, which will be taken by Anderson. Anderson will throw it short to Reason, and Reason just sort of turning this way and that. Great ball by Reason to Anderson. Anderson can't quite get enough power on the cross. Macclesfield still haven't cleared it completely. It will go to Reese Prestige, and Reason very heavily involved so far. We'll chip that forward, looking for To Horse. Doesn't quite find its way through.
Over there.
Yeah, well, Macclesfield's trying to attack again. Looks like Winter's trying to challenge Wilson there, and Winter has to knock it back to Lee Worgan. He's got Whittaker bearing down on him. It's a slightly shanked clearance by Worgan, but it gets enough distance on it that Lewis can put it into the Macclesfield half. And now there's a ball forward for Piggott to chase, and Johan Ter Horst is after that. And in the end, Jalal has to kick it out for a throw-in, and Jalal, I think, he might have been better off leaving that one to go out for a goal kick, but I think he probably didn't think he could take any chances there.
No, you're definitely not in that kind of situation, even if the ball does skid or not, because Johan is a quick player.
So ball goes into the area after Reason was holding it up there, but it's not the best of crosses, and it'll be brought clear by Lloyd for Macclesfield, only as far as Magnus Ekwenge, and now Lewis will hoover up possession. He knocks it back to Lee Worgan, who plays it back out wide to Magnus Ekwenge. And Ekwenge will knock it long, but it'll be intercepted by Fitzpatrick. And Fitzpatrick knocks it to Lewis. So after all of that, there is a free kick given against Macclesfield. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think, and quite near the centre circle, it's not forward for Reason. It wasn't a bad effort that by Ekwenge, but it didn't quite get through. Tomasi will pick it up, he knocks it forward, and now Macclesfield players are running into each other here. Fitzpatrick was just running into Burgess, and Ekwenge is having a tussle there with Wilson. Ekwenge and Wilson just on the floor for a second there, but nothing seems to have come of it. And Worgan will knock it clear for Maidstone. Looks for Piggott, but Piggott is going to do well to get that. Fitzpatrick, risky back pass there from Fitzpatrick. Just squeezes under Piggott's foot. And Baba will pick it up for Macclesfield. He's under immediate pressure from Jay Reason. And now there's a long ball forward looking for Lloyd. Tomasi gets a good head on that. Gets it all the way to Hines. Hines plays it to Lewis. Back to Hines, and now Hines, he's actually been fairly quiet since he scored that goal. It'll get played forward in the direction of Piggott, but he can't pick it up, and Burgess will gather in midfield. He'll play it back to Keith Lowe, and they'll go back to Jalal in the Macclesfield goal. And now Jalal will knock it all the way through to Lee Worgan there. There's one or two of Macclesfield players had strayed offside.
I think the Maidstone have really controlled that midfield so far, haven't they? Both, I mean, Reason actually has particularly impressed me so far. It's probably the best I've seen him play actually for a while. I think probably since he's joined us. As I wasn't at the game on Tuesday night, but no, I mean, Maidstone have certainly controlled that midfield very well so far.
Certainly from what I saw of Reason last year, and I always thought he was the kind of player that would do well once he settled in, and certainly doing well this afternoon. And slightly misplaced pass there from Maidstone. It was Winter who's knocked it out. think he was knocking it long, looking for someone on the left-hand side, and there wasn't actually anybody there. And so Macclesfield have a throw deep in their own half, and I thought that I've got to say, I thought that Kennedy handled that under no pressure. The linesman was right next to him and didn't give it. So Whittaker for Macclesfield in midfield, plays it back to Lowe. Lowe brings it forward about 10 yards before shanking it slightly. Tomasi will cut that out, and now Hines can break down the right-hand side. And Hines sort of checks back, thinks about giving it to Lewis. And in the end, he does give it to Lewis. Lewis will play it forward for Reason. Reason's been bundled over there, but the referee says, well, I wonder if Reason was looking for that, actually. I've got a feeling that's why it wasn't given, because it was also right under the linesman's nose. And it's sort of one of those where it's 50-50 whether it gets given or not. And Macclesfield will regain possession with Scott Burgess. Plays it to Baba. He knocks it out wide for Hancocks. He loses out to Johan ter Horst. And Maidstone will clear, but only as far as Burgess. And Macclesfield once again in possession, but they once again give it away. Anderson has the ball knocked out by the number 7. It's Elliot Durrell. And Anderson will have a throw-in for Maidstone deep inside his own half. We've had 35 minutes here, 36 minutes here at Moss Rose. Maidstone 2-0 ahead. Zavon Hines with the opening goal, and then Alex Winter on 25 minutes to make it 2-0. And at the moment, you'd have to say Maidstone good value for that lead. Might even have scored more. A couple of chances for Pigott and ter Horst, which didn't miss by much. And now Macclesfield back in possession again with Kennedy. Kennedy strides forward into the Maidstone half, knocks it wide for Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick will try and play it inside, but it's intercepted by Zavon Hines. And Hines now sprints between two players until he manages to get it through to Pigott. And Pigott tries to get it to ter Horst. Not a bad idea, but it's intercepted. And now Macclesfield will attack through Fitzpatrick to Burgess. It's a bit of possession football here by Macclesfield. It's that wide to Durrell, cross towards the far post, but Lee Worgan gathers it fairly comfortably in the end under a challenge from Scott Wilson. And the Maidstone drummer, James Marshall, is back in action again. May be able to hear the sound of the drum from the far side of the ground. Quenge tries to clear it, and it looks like Tomasi there with a very strong tackle, and it needed to be, because Macclesfield would probably have had an overlap there if he hadn't got to challenge in. As it is, they've got the ball back in a less dangerous position. Baba will play it inside to Hancocks. Hancocks looks for Burgess. Burgess is going to knock it out wide to Durrell, but Prestige intercepts, and it'll go back to Lowe under a bit of pressure from Pigott. And Fitzpatrick out wide. Just had a message from our station manager saying it's Moss Lane, not Moss Rose. Actually, Chris, you're mistaken. It's Moss Rose. We weren't saying Moss Road. This ground is actually called Moss Rose. It's that part of Macclesfield. And Moss Lane, I believe, was the old Altrincham ground that we used to play at back in the 80s at some point. Anyway, the ball goes out for a goal kick. And Worgan's goal kick will go to Pigott. And Pigott, with 3 Macclesfield players around him, manages to keep possession. Terrific play that by Joe Pigott. And he's got ter Horst out wide. Ter Horst will have to give it back to Anderson. Actually, it's a poor pass by ter Horst. I think Maidstone thought there was a foul. Some of the fans on the far side seemed to think that Pigott was fouled, but it was just not a very well hit pass by ter Horst that's got Macclesfield out of trouble there. And so Lewis is going to come back on. He's signalling to the referee. The referee seems to have seen him, but he's not letting him come back on yet. And there was a cross into the area, which Prestige will head clear. And the ball will go back to Zavon Hines. And he gets it through to Pigott, and now Pigott in a sort of right wing position, waiting for support to arrive. Here it comes to the intercept, Jai Reason, and Reason played it out wide for Terhorst, but Terhorst, I think, thought the ball was going to go into the area rather than wide, and he didn't quite read that one. And it goes back to Whittaker. Whittaker will play it wide. It goes back to Baba, and back to Lowe. Lowe will bring it forward into will knock it towards Durrell. Durrell will try and chest it down, but Prestige immediately intercepts, gets it as clear, or gets it as far as Baba on the halfway line. Baba will knock it out to Kennedy. And Maidstone quite happy to let Macclesfield have the ball in their own half, but as soon as they get over the halfway line, they're very quick to shut them down. There's a good interception there by Seth Nana Tuamasi. Gets it to Hines, and Hines has got Wilson breathing down his neck, and he plays in Piggott, but Piggott was just offside there, and he knew it, so he didn't run after it, and the upshot is Macclesfield will have.
Well, you can see what he was trying to do there, but I think Piggott was at least 2 yards offside there. I don't think Hines looks up to also see where he was, what his options were. And Johan was trying his best to chase it down, but unfortunately it's a goal kick for Macclesfield. So it's punted downfield by Jalal. Tuamasi will pick it up, thinks about giving it back to Lee Morgan. Morgan under a bit of pressure from Whittaker, gets it clear, gets it to the halfway line. It's headed back by Kennedy. Tuamasi will head it back to almost the same position. Fitzpatrick heads it, another header from Lewis, another header from Kennedy. Finally the ball hits the deck, and Prestige will knock it wide to Anderson. Anderson almost, he manages to sell Durrell there. And Piggott and Reason just about run into each other, so Macclesfield get the ball back. Winter will play it to Reason, to Hines. Nice little flick there by Hines. Manages to win a throw-in for Maidstone. And with just over 2 minutes left in this first half, we have a throw-in to Maidstone just in front of the Macclesfield dugout, 10 yards into the Macclesfield half. It'll be Seth Nana Tuamasi to take it. Throws it looking for Piggott. It's going to be cut out by Fitzpatrick, but Maidstone will gain roughly 10 yards there. And Tuamasi again will take it this time. Thinks about throwing it towards Hines. In the end, he has thrown it for Hines. Hines won't get there, but Piggott will. Piggott into the area. Piggott, 3 players in front of him. In the end, he's crowded out, but he gets back to Lewis. Back to Tuamasi. He's going to cross it, is it? No, he's going to give it to Hines. Hines has got Lloyd in front of him. He's trying to go round him. He's going to give it back to Tuamasi. Tuamasi will surely cross it. Goes for the penalty spot. And the header is won, I think, by Terhorst. We can't get any direction on it. It'll be cleared as far as Tuamasi. And Akwenge will knock it forward for Hines, who's onside here, but he can't quite keep it in. And the ball will go out for a Macclesfield goal kick. Well, it was well chased down actually by Savon Hines. I mean, Magnus has put a ball bits.
Well, you have to say that so far, tactically, Maidstone have played this absolutely spot on. And the only sort of slight concern is that we've played it so well. You think, well, surely there's going to have to be a reaction from Macclesfield in the second half. But anyway, here's Winter. He'll knock it back to Tuamasi. And it'll go for Reason. Reason is right in front of the fourth official's dugout here. And just gone out of play there, and it'll be a Macclesfield throw. But it's quite a smart bit of play there by Tuamasi, because he's absolutely sort of punted that NFL style down the ground. So Macclesfield couldn't restart quite as quickly as they would have liked. And Whittaker will knock it wide for Baba. Baba back to Whittaker on the halfway line for Macclesfield. To play inside to Durrell, who's drifted in field. There will be a minute of added time here at Moss Rose.
The fourth officials indicated a minimum of 1 minute additional time. 1 minute.
Fitzpatrick plays it to Lloyd under a bit of pressure from Lewis. Gets it into Whittaker. Whittaker will play it back to Durrell. And now the ball chipped forward into the area. Could be danger here, but Morgan is alive to it. And Morgan out quickly there before Lloyd could get anywhere near it.
Yeah, the worst case scenario is for Maidstone to give a goal away in the stroke of half time to give Max a bit of lift. So I think the end of Morgan's just about done enough there to get the ball before Scott Wilson.
I think maybe it looks a little bit more alarming from where we were. I think Morgan probably had that under control. So just the angle that we were at, I think it was Lloyd running onto it, and it looked very much like he was going to get there. But anyway, Baba, we're in the last 10 seconds of the added time at the end of this half. Fitzpatrick on the left-hand side for Macclesfield. And Zavon Hines will put it out of play for a throw-in. And we're now into the second minute of the minimum of 1 minute of added time, if that makes any sense. Fitzpatrick will throw it to Lloyd. And Lloyd thinks about putting a cross in, tries to chip it over the top for Durrell. And Durrell deflects it through, but there's no real power on it. And Worgan gathers it comfortably. And you would assume that that will be the last action of this first half. Worgan bounces it a couple of times. Looks downfield for Piggott. Still we play on. And the ball will fall for Hines. And that is the half-time whistle. Knocks the ball forward, looking for Johan ter Horst. Stuart Lewis will head it forward to ter Horst. And the ball will break for Twomasi. Good header in by him. Back to Akwenge though. Akwenge will knock it forward. Piggott tries to get under it, under a bit of pressure from Kennedy. Piggott does quite well there, but Kennedy in the end wins that particular tussle. It's it downfield. And Jay Reason will try to head it clear. Can't do so. Prestige in the end manages to get something on it, but Hines can't pick it up. And now we'll see Macclesfield on the attack for the first time this half with Durrell. Durrell has to play it back to Keith Lowe. And Baba will come forward for Macclesfield down this right-hand side. Reason will intercept, but it will go out for a Macclesfield throw-in, level with the Maidstone 6-yard area. Looks like it's going to be Baba who's going to take this. And Baba just taking his time, looking for an option, chucks it forward, gets the ball back, the return pass is a deep cross into the area, and Lee Worgan gathers it safely under a challenge from Scott Wilson.
I think it's going to be important as well. I think I said at the start of the match, both sides are going to need to put a cross in the box. Macclesfield are really going to have to, really put some Lee Worgan under some pressure. As the rain starts to come down against these Tessis clubs.
It's a flicked header there from Piggott, and there's an injury to Lowe, I think it is, after the challenge with Piggott. No one is claiming a foul or anything there, so I think it was just an accidental collision. I do remember the closing stages. Remember the playoff semi-final against Folkestone? And Steve Watt gave the ball back to Folkestone, but he gave it back by kicking it about 90 yards down the field into the corner. So it was...
It's still probably one of the most tense games we probably had at Watton away, wasn't it?
I think you probably could be right there. That was a very, very tense evening 4 years ago now.
It's hard to believe that.
Yeah. Maidstone beat Folkestone in that playoff semi-final. And Johan ter Horst, interestingly enough, I believe is the only player on the pitch that was in that match, and he was playing for Folkestone. Long ball forward for Piggott, and he'll win a throw-in for Maidstone deep inside the Macclesfield half. Ter Horst, of course, has since been to Hull, where he played quite well for their academy side without ever breaking into the first team. And I remember seeing an interview with him where he said he was looking forward to scoring a goal that actually means something, because in academy football, when you score, no one's there to cheer. So anyway, Seth Nana Twomasi with the throw-in. Throws it short to ter Horst, and Twomasi will get it back, thinks about getting a cross in, he does so, it's headed clear by Kennedy. No one really in there for Maidstone, but here's Hines in the area, jinks one way, jinks the other, gets a shot off, it's blocked, and Whittaker can clear it for Macclesfield, only gets as far as Akwenge, and Akwenge has to put it out for a throw-in, but it is deep inside the Macclesfield half. Macclesfield in possession with Fitzpatrick, back to Lowe, who's now back on and seems fit to resume. He plays it inside to Mitch Hancox, and Hancox will look for Durrell, but it's a poor pass and it's easily cut out by Anderson. So Kennedy will play it out wide. Wilson will drop deep for it, but well tackled there by Reece Prestige. Ball goes back to Worgan. Great interception that was by Prestige. It's almost become a kind of standard thing for us to see that. Here comes ter Horst, putting Fitzpatrick under a bit of pressure, but in the end it's a comfortable header back to Jalal. Okay, Macclesfield coming forward now through low. Play that to Baba. Baba tries to slip his way past Hines. Ball will go back out wide to Baba. Baba is going to look for Elliot Durrell. Durrell's got Anderson breathing down his neck, comes inside. Anderson nearly fouls him. In the end, he thinks better of it. Durrell will get it out to Whittaker. Plays it to Wilson. Wilson's forced to drop deep. And Wilson will play it to Durrell. Durrell now has got an option out wide if he wants it, which is Fitzpatrick. Slightly heavy touch from him. Plays it inside to Burgess. And Burgess, a great ball for Burgess, and that's a very late offside flag. Just for a moment there, I thought Maidstone were in deep trouble, and in fact, Wilson did put the ball in the net, didn't he? But by then the offside flag had gone up.
Well, it certainly got their crowd back, the home crowd back on its feet, and I think the Lions made a good call. I think you might have been just about a yard or two offside, and thank goodness for that, because otherwise Scott Wilson, he eventually poked it home. So it's danger signs for Maidstone United.
Just seemed very late, the flag, which is why it was a bit worrying. Now we're back with Macclesfield in possession in their own half. For anyone of a certain age who remembers the show Grange Hill, there's a man who looks exactly like the old teacher Bullet Baxter has just walked past the front of the main stand here. Ball goes forward to Joe Piggott. So he can't keep it under control, but the defence under a bit of pressure though. Lowe will knock it out wide to Baba. He's still inside the Macclesfield half. As to Durrell. Baba plays it inside to Whittaker again. Maidstone quite happy to let Macclesfield have the ball until they get into the final third, and then the shutters come down. That's a great interception by Reason, and it's not a great ball out, but he didn't really have any options there, did he?
No, he didn't have a lot of options there. I think Piggott looks a little bit frustrated the fact he put it down, but to be honest, it's better to be safe than sorry in that situation.
There's an offside flag up against Elliot Durrell. He's straight about a yard off there. Maidstone will restart. The referee says that the ball was moving, which it was, and so I wonder if Maidstone have done that deliberately so that Morgan gets the chance to chalk off another 30 seconds or so. If they did, it's quite clever game management. Here's Morgan with the free kick. Deep, looking for Piggott. Piggott with the flick. I don't think Hines is going to keep that in. He does, but it's only to knock it into... he's just about knocked it out for a throw-in instead of a goal kick. The referee is telling Baba to go back almost level with the corner flag. And so Maidstone have pinned Macclesfield into that corner. And now Hines will try and wing it back, but Durrell does well there to hold him off. Prestige wins a header. Winter will knock it back. Not the best of balls by Winter. Prestige will get under it, but it'll be won back by Hancox. Hancox does well to get it to Wilson, and now Wilson with a bit unlucky there, Wilson. Mason slightly fortunate bounce. As, Wilson was trying to play it out wide, and instead it hit one of his teammates and sort of burst through to Lee Morgan. Anyway, Macclesfield back in possession again. They've had a lot of the ball in this half, but they've not created too much so far. And once again, Durrell. It's poor control by Hancock, gives it to Lewis. Lewis under pressure from Wilson. Wilson puts Anderson under pressure there. And the ball will go back to Durrell on the right-hand side. It's Lewis possibly a bit lucky to get away with that there. He was a little bit late on Hancock's, but I think the ball had already gone, and that's why there wasn't a foul given.
Yeah, I mean, the referees, it's a hard one for that, because sometimes they might think to put it back in there. But I think, he's probably made the right call there to let play go, as he'd already played the ball, which seems to be happening a lot in the modern game.
Well, Durrell has somehow kept that in, and I think there's a suspicion he may have done it with his hand. Certainly Anderson was extremely unhappy. Macclesfield are now attacking as a result of that, and here's Whittaker on the edge of the area. Once again, Prestige with the interception. And Fitzpatrick from Macclesfield deep in the Maidstone half, plays it square to Whittaker. Whittaker looking to pick a pass, gets Baba on the right-hand side. He's going to get a chance to cross. But good interception by Zavon Hines there. And he'll go out for a throw-in to Macclesfield, roughly level with the edge of the penalty area. Just for a moment, it looked like Baba was going to get the chance to put a dangerous cross in.
This is I've just seen one of the Macclesfield players put on the wrong shirt. He's put on Danny Whitehead's shirt. I think it might be Tyrone Marsh, actually, maybe.
Yeah, that kind of sums up their afternoon so far, really.
That is Jume Toure.
So there's still plenty of time left. We've only had 11 minutes this second half. Maidstone leading 2-0. But Macclesfield are probing at the moment. They're enjoying a huge amount of possession. It has to be said. I don't know what the stats are, but I would take a guess that they've probably had about 70% of the ball so far in the second half. And they haven't really created any clear-cut chances yet. But you'd have to think that they are going to have a spell before too long. Right. Ball goes out of play in front of the Maidstone fans in that far corner for a throw-in.
Well, they've been in fine voice actually in the second half. There's been a lot of dancing around at the front of the front of the stand, and certainly enjoying the game while they're being 2-0 up here.
Well, Guillaume Toure is about to come on. He's a French player for Macclesfield, and just to say, one of the local reporters was saying to us beforehand that he's a very, very good player, but he's not very good at passing. He's got a lot of skill, but he's not yet on the same wavelength as some of his teammates. So anyway, Macclesfield are on the attack here. It could be a goal, it could be, but it's a poor touch. And Lee Worgan, really a bit of a lucky break there. This is a heavy touch by Wilson.
Real lucky escape there for Maidstone. The shot really should have got away a little bit earlier. The ball fell to Scott Wilson, just the edge of the 6-yard box. Just couldn't keep under control. He just couldn't let his touch out. And if he did, I would have thought it'd be 2-1 now. Yeah,
that was the best bit of football that we've seen so far from Macclesfield. They really cut the defence open, but in the end, they just couldn't control it. The final touch from Wilson just sort of squirted off his leg, and in the end, it was a very easy save for Lee Worgan after what was a very dangerous-looking move. And now here's Lewis Pigott into the area. He's got to Horst inside him if he can keep it in, but he can't, and it goes into the side netting.
Yeah, you can see what he's trying to do there. He's trying to nod it on and try and put it back across goal at the last moment for Johan ter Horst before he just hit the side netting.
Macclesfield are taking that so quickly that they haven't had time to make the substitution. Ter Horst is not going to keep that in, so Toure is going to come on. And to see, I think it's Hancock's is coming off.
Scott Burgess.
Yeah. If the home fans' chant is anything to go by, his name is pronounced Jimmy. So it's sort of spelt G-I-M-E, but well, I think Jimmy's probably quite easier anyway. Here comes Baba down the right-hand side. There's just a bit of a buzz about Macclesfield at the moment. Here comes Durrell. And Durrell squares it, but it's a poor pass, and Tomasi will intercept. Only goes as far as Fitzpatrick, though. And it goes out wide to Baba, and Baba will bring it under control. He's in a position on the right-hand side where he gets it to Whittaker. Whittaker will cross deep into the area. Could be danger here. The ball eludes everyone. And Tomasi's got to be careful there. It's a robust challenge on Lloyd, but he's just about got it clear, and now here come Macclesfield again, edge of the area, looking for a way through. Lewis stumbling into a challenge on the edge of the box, has got to be careful. Ball is going to come in, it's going to go out for a corner, is it? No, Worgan will just about keep that in. And Maidstone just need to keep the ball of it, don't they?
Yeah, really, they just have to try and cut Macclesfield out of their rhythm. I'll say that in the last 5 minutes or so, they really are starting to put some good passes together. Although they haven't quite had putting Lee Warren to a save yet, they are showing signs of promise now with their home side.
There's Worgan. Thought for a second there he was going to get away with that. Worgan long ball to Pigott, and Pigott controlled it, I think unintentionally with his hand, but it definitely came off his lower arm. And really can't really complain too much about that being a free kick, although Pigott did look a bit unhappy about it. I think he's saying he didn't intend to play it, but certainly you'd be pretty unhappy if you got a chance created in that fashion. Baba with the ball, plays it back to Lowe. Lowe will come inside. Deep ball over to the far side, which will be cut out by Seth Nanotramasi. And Macclesfield will have a throw level with the centre circle inside the Maidstone half. The Maidstone fans still in great voice over there on the far side. And ball goes into Durrell, and Durrell's got a yard of space, so he's got to be careful here. Mason not sure what to do, and in the end there is a shot. It's comfortably saved by Lee Morgan. And it was a dangerous situation, wasn't it? Because the Mason players were sort of standing off him.
Yeah, as Mason can't do that. They have to be Brazilian like they were in the first half. And now when Max do seem to attack, you've got 9 players, or 9 outfield players back with Piggott, the lone man up front now.
So you wouldn't say it was a siege exactly, but just the sheer amount of possession that Macclesfield have had in the second half. Sooner or later something's got to give. Either you think they're going to score, or Maidstone are going to hit them on the counter-attack. Ball goes out of play on the far side. The Macclesfield ball boy throws it to Seth Nanotramasi, and Seth will take his time over the throw-in. Eventually throws it forward in the direction of Piggott. Piggott tries to flick it onto Horst, but he doesn't manage to get it through. Magnus Akwenge will deal with the clearance. Lewis will play it through to Piggott, goes to Horst, back through to Piggott now. Mason finally on the ball, but Piggott loses out, and it's back in Macclesfield possession once again. Here comes Wilson towards the edge of the area, tries to play it through for Toure, and now there's danger here. Toure is tackled by Winter, and Toure just got into a bit of a muddle there.
Yeah, for a second there I thought Alex Winter had lost Toure there. He got the wrong side of him, but he's managed to recover one and just stick his foot in to poke it back out to Seth Tomasi. And once again, Mason were able to clear their lines.
Yep. And again, you'd say that Mason... I don't really think you can say that Macclesfield have deserved to get back into the second half yet in terms of chances created, but certainly in terms of possession. It's a lot of pressure building. Here comes Zavon Hines for Maidstone now on the left wing, edge of the area, plays it into Reason. It's going to... Well, it's just cleared by Kennedy, I think it was. He managed to get just something on it. Otherwise, it was going to fall for Piggott. Prestige interrupts the counter-attack, and Piggott, who is doing so much work for Maidstone, has in the end had to play it out wide.
I think Jay Reason was probably a little bit disappointed he didn't play it a little bit earlier there, Zavon Hines. If he did manage to get it through legs, it would have been real danger.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the home side, he managed to scub his shot, and Max got it away in the end.
So it's still 2-0 to Maidstone here, but certainly hanging in the balance, and the next goal, as the pundits love to say, will be crucial. Baba will knock it back to Jalal. Jalal will play it out to, I think that's Kennedy out there. Kennedy will knock it forward in the direction of Toure, and Toure is probably a good 6 or 7 inches taller than Seth Nanotramasi, but all he can do is head it out into the corner, right in front of the Maidstone fans. And now there's going to be a substitution for Macclesfield. Fitzpatrick is coming off, and Whitehead is coming on, Danny Whitehead.
Well, clearly then there must be changes taken because Danny White is more of a central midfielder, I think, and so clearly now they're probably going to go to 3 at the back now, Macclesfield, and if they really need to push for this goal to get back into this game.
Time slows down when you're in front, and there's Prestige knocking it forward for Horst, and Horst might get that. He's outpacing Kennedy, and Kennedy just very well there actually. Looked like that was going to go out for a corner, but Kennedy's rescued it at the last second. But Mason now going forward with Prestige to Zavon Hines, and Zavon Hines edge of the area, and Hines has scored! And it is 3-0 to Maidstone after all that Macclesfield pressure. Zavon Hines, a deflected shot from the edge of the area, and that, well, I'm almost speechless, Ben. 3-0 to Maidstone here.
Well, out of nothing, Zavon Hines just picked up the ball in the far right. It was a little bit similar in the end to his goal against Woking. It deflected into the roof of the net, and Maidstone somehow are 3-0 up here in Macclesfield.
And Zavon Hines with his second goal of the game, with his 4th goal in the last 3 games, and he sort of points to the sky to say thank you. He's apparently a devout Christian, and he sort of pointed to thank a higher authority. Maybe it was for the deflection.
This man just seems to be getting better and better. What an unbelievable performance he's put in. And considering he went a little bit quiet in the first half, but he just pulls out a bit of magic out of nothing, and that's what you need in a player like him.
Well, it looks like some of the home fans are already leaving, which is a bit premature because we've still got about 26 minutes left here, I think. So anyway, Maidstone 3-0 up here away to Macclesfield. And I'm now going to put you on the spot, Ben, and say, when was the last time we were 3-0 up?
Do you know what? I was actually just thinking away from
or
home.
Even anywhere.
Well, to be honest, I was just thinking that. Actually. I'm having a feeling it could have been October 2014 when we were in the Ryan Premier. I think it was a 4-1 win over Maidstone. I mean, in the league anyway, in terms of being 3 goals up, I think that might be it. Oh, actually, no, just remembered. It's Billericay Town, February 2015, I think. 3-0 win. Jay May scoring against his old club in that.
We were 4-0 up against Torquay. Was it
Chester, yes.
Chester, yeah, last season. Anyway, here's Macclesfield with a free kick deep towards the far post. Lowe will head it back into the danger area. But great play by Pigott, and now Hines can break again. Hines on the left-hand side has already got into the Macclesfield half. He's got 2 defenders against him. Whittaker is one of them, and Whittaker's done well there. And now Whittaker and Hines are squaring up to each other, and really Hines, I think, is Hines is going to be lucky to escape a yellow card here, and in fact he's not going to escape a yellow card. Hines has got to be careful here. He's got a yellow card. It was a good tackle by Whittaker, and then he just sort of tugged him back, and really he could have got a yellow for that. And then the 2 of them afterwards had a little bit of handbags, and Hines has been booked. Hines is now getting some what you might call banter from the home crowd.
Yeah, well, he's pointing his fingers up now for a gesture of 3-0 to the Macclesfield fans. I don't think they're too happy with that at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the banter he's getting back is banter in the sense that gets dished out on Twitter quite a lot by single people, let's put it that way. But, anyway, that definitely wasn't banter, that last insult. I hope you didn't pick that up. It's Toure with a shot, but it's hopeless. It's wide for Macclesfield, and that might just send a few more people heading for the exit. Not quite yet.
Yeah, well, John Askey's just pointing his fingers, thinking he had Elliot Durrell on the right, and Durrell's certainly not happy with the way Toure play a ball, and it is just summing up their afternoon at the moment, isn't it?
Very poor pass. It's a shot, sorry, not a pass. But anyway, Maidstone 3-0 up here against Macclesfield now. And 23.5 minutes gone in this second half. Morgan with a long ball forward looking for Pigott. Pigott will win the flicked header, but it will go into a kind of no man's land, and it will eventually be picked up by Jalal, who play it straight out to Baba. And Baba will knock it forward to Lowe. He will play it square to Kennedy. And now Kennedy will stride into the Maidstone half, unchallenged until he gets to the final third, where Stuart Lewis appears to halt his forward progress. And now Durrell is offside, and the frustration grows here.
Well, so I mean, I think Durrell as well had a bit of time as well to look at the line there, and hasn't done that very well, because I think he was probably about half an inch offside, and it's right in front of the liner as well, so it's probably an easy decision for him in the end.
I always think it's a good sign, when the opposition players are arguing amongst themselves, and Durrell and Kennedy are currently having it out over that particular pass. Durrell saying he wanted it earlier, Kennedy saying that he shouldn't have strayed offside. And, they may both be right, but as long as they're arguing with each other, it's probably a good sign from Maidstone's point of view. There's a attack down the left-hand side from Macclesfield now. There's a ball into the area. It's headed out by Winter towards Twomasi. Twomasi can't keep it in, but it goes into the set of Maidstone fans behind the goal. And the ball is thrown back to Hancock's. And goes back to Whittaker. Whittaker, he looks like he's shaping to shoot here, and he thinks better of it because he was quite a way out. It would have taken one hell of a shot from that distance, but frankly, Macclesfield might as well try something like that because they've not had a lot of luck with anything else so far. And Twomasi will clear for Maidstone. Really a sort of rugby clearance because there's nobody there, and he's done the... Arthur is coming on, Kobe Arthur, and it looks like it's Ryan Lloyd who's coming off. And good challenge by Hancock's on Lewis, gets it back from Macclesfield, back to Whittaker, and they are still dominating possession. Here comes Torre to Wilson. It'll be cleared by Lewis on the edge of the area, and it'll go back to Macclesfield sub the 18. It's going to break through for what looks like it's going to go out for well, it's not gone out. In fact, Terhorst has kept it in, and now Terhorst has got to be careful. And Terhorst has given it away in a bad position there. It's going to cross come in. Prestige will get it clear. Reason will try and block it. Macclesfield still in possession on the edge of the area. And Baba will take a shot, and you may be able to guess from the reaction of the crowd where that went. It went about 12 rows into the terracing behind the goal. And as we expected, Johan Terhorst is going to go off. Richards, of course, the only time he started this season was against Wrexham, and he scored the winning goal, didn't he? Here comes Piggott into the area to try. He scored out of absolutely nothing. I almost don't believe that's gone in. Piggott out of nothing. He's chased it down. He scored from an angle.
It's a bad mistake from Jalal, really. It's just snuck in the near post underneath him, and I don't know how Maidstone fallen up, and that's just giving the introduction for a lot of Macclesfield fans to start leaving now. A lot of them are starting to make their way out of the ground.
There's an exodus from this main stand, and a huge number of home fans are going. And Paxman's going to come on for Jay Reason. And, well, do not adjust your wireless or whatever device that you're listening on. You are hearing it right. The score here is Macclesfield 0, Maidstone United 4.
I certainly did. Do you know what? I
wrote 15 minutes to go.
I wrote programme notes for Macclesfield Town's programme for today. I predicted a 2-2 draw because I thought it was going to be, I really did think it'd be a much tighter game here. So I really did not expect this to be the scoreline.
Well, it would take an absolute arsenal of a performance to get rid of it from here. And, well, I've got to say, Macclesfield are irate. They think they should have had a penalty. I think both Ben and I tend to agree with him.
He managed to keep it with Torre's heels. The referee's had an absolute nightmare there, I'm afraid.
I think that Torre seemed to have been fouled inside the area, and the linesman was right by it.
I know.
The linesman was 10 yards away. The referee looked at his linesman, and the linesman didn't give it.
The thing is, though, because he's clipped his... I mean, Anderson somehow he's clipped his right foot, and I think everyone else is going for it should have been a penalty. He was just waiting for the referee to blow his whistle, but for some reason it wasn't given. And I think John Askey's making his feelings known to the linesman now. He's got to be careful. The last thing Macclesfield will want for him to get sent off.
Well, I think you'd say that Maidstone have had a lucky break there. But luck is a relative concept when you're 4-0 up. Here comes Torre again into the area, and this time Torre shoots, and he shoots so wide and so high.
Yeah, he's not actually made the impact that John Askey was probably hoping when he came on.
Let's say it once again, the scoreline here. Macclesfield 0, Maidstone United 4. 15 minutes to go. Macclesfield in possession, but it has been so far, it's just been a tactical masterclass from Maidstone. The way that they've played it. Whittaker in possession for Macclesfield. So you think that, as we said earlier, we think you haven't got possession stats in front of us. I would guess that Macclesfield have had about 70% of the ball in this half, and yet the scoreline...
I don't think Maidstone have only created a couple of chances in the second half, and they've both gone in.
And they've both gone in, absolutely. And one of them, you have to say, it was a 100-to-1 shot, that goal from Joe Piggott. Great tackle there by Reece Prestige. And here comes Zavon Hines again. Hines thinks about skipping past a player, and he's going to try and break down the left-hand side. He's left Whittaker standing, but he's got Lowe in front of him. And now he's sort of backed into a corner, really. He still keeps going, Hines. He's in the corner. And Lowe has manhandled him down there. And there will be a free kick to Maidstone deep inside the Macclesfield half.
There's a few sarcastic applause from the Macclesfield fans, and to be honest, really, he did absolutely shove him over. It was more like a boxing match there.
Maidstone have taken the free kick before he could get on there. First touch for Jack Richards. Richards into the area. Richards on the byline, but the the linesman's flag has gone up. And Finney is going to come on. I'm not sure who he's coming on for. It looks like it's going to be... it's actually Alex Winter. No, you're right, it's Anderson. So Finney will get his first action.
Well, it's good to see him back on the pitch at least.
Yeah, I think it's about a month. It looks like Winter is going to go out to left back. And Anderson really hasn't put a foot wrong all season so far, has he? So here come Macclesfield again in possession with Wilson. He's it to Torre. Torre goes this way and that. It's a Paolo one-shot-like player. And he gets it wide to Durrell, and Durrell might have a shot here. Scores it instead, and Macclesfield are going to pull one back. 4-1. And in the end, I think it was Kobe Arthur that scored a sort of side-footed shot. And Lee Morgan very unhappy to have given away a clean sheet.
You can't blame him really, because I mean he's been given a lot of time and space there, and he's been given a lot of time to direct that into the bottom left-hand corner. I can understand Morgan's frustration, and it's another clean sheet. It's a real shame there because Maidstone haven't put a foot wrong defensively all afternoon up until this point.
Yeah. I think in terms of the amount of possession they've had, you probably wouldn't begrudge Macclesfield that goal, but let's just hope it doesn't make it a nervous finale. Maidstone's still 4-1 up here, but stranger things have happened in football. Here's Paxman for Maidstone, trying to shepherd the ball on the edge of the area, trying to get it through to Piggott. Can't quite chip it over the defence, and Lowe will intercept. Now here's Torre again. And Maidstone have just got to keep their heads here. Macclesfield are attacking down the left-hand side. And it looks like it's Arthur. Plays it inside. And Tuamasi and Ekwenge getting in each other's way there. Richards will pick it up. Richards is in the right back position. And he just tries to get as much distance on it as he can. Only goes as far as Arthur. Arthur plays it into Wilson. And now Wilson will get past two players. He'll shoot. But it'll go out for a corner. And there's just a bit of belief in the Macclesfield ranks here. We've got 9 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Maidstone 4-1 up here at Moss Rose. Durrell with the corner. And that'll go towards... I think it was Kennedy that got the header, but in the end he's headed it about a yard, 2 yards over.
If they did score from that corner, you might be in for a really nervous finale. I mean, like you say, Maidstone just got to keep their heads in and keep their discipline, because you say only it takes another goal, and then maybe people start to get a little bit on edge. And there's still, even if they did get another goal now, there's still plenty of time for Macclesfield to get back into it.
Yeah, I've seen some weird stuff in football. I've never seen a team at this level blow a 4-0 lead. Although, having said that, we did have that game with, was it Harrow Borough? Were you there for that one where we were 4-1 up and Harrow came back to get a 4-4 draw and nearly won it in the end, didn't they? That was, I think that was just the second season back at Watman Way. And of course at 4-1 everyone thought it was all over, but Harrow did have a pretty good side that year, pretty good players. Anyway, here's Paxman for Maidstone. Edge of the area, two players around him, knocks it back for Prestige. Prestige is the sort of player, exactly the sort of player that you want in this kind of situation. Just the sort of person who will take a touch and keep the ball. And Savon Hines is trying to keep it on the far side. He's tussling with Torre, he's been fouled. Good play that by Hines to win a free kick. And Hines is getting up slowly. Hines doesn't want to take the free kick, so Prestige is being urged by the referee to get over there.
Attendance here at Moss Rose this afternoon, 1,347 with 122 visitors. Many thanks for your support. Thank you.
I don't know if you heard that. They've just given out the attendance, 1,327, I believe he said, with around about 120 from Maidstone.
Yeah.
It actually seems like quite a low crowd. I thought it would probably be more.
Yeah, no, I mean, for a big club like Macclesfield, I thought they would have brought in at least about 2,500 today. I thought they got the same crowd as what Maidstone normally do.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit surprised actually it's only about 1,300 here today.
Say that when we were driving up the service station was full of Liverpool fans. We thought, where are they going? And of course they're at home to Burnley, aren't they? And these were just fans from the south of England who were travelling up to watch Liverpool. Mason Morgan towards Hines. Hines gets a flick on, and it'll go out for a Macclesfield throw, maybe level with the edge of the Macclesfield penalty area. We've got 6 minutes left, plus whatever stoppage time is allowed. Lowe will try and hoof that one forward in the direction of Wilson. Finney gets under it. And Torre now, it's going to into the area for Torre. He squares it, but good play by Stuart Lewis.
I was a bit surprised the referee didn't give a foul, because I swear Finney's shirt was being pulled there by, I think it was Scott Wilson.
I thought so, but in the end, Stuart Lewis was tracking back, and he got a very timely interception in. And Alex Winter in the left-back position now has headed that one out. He's claiming something off the linesman. He's not going to get that. There was nothing wrong with that. And Durrell and Hines are tussling on the edge of the area. Ball goes deep into the box. Tramassi will knock it out. The home fans briefly got excited, but it was a good clearance by Tramassi. And it goes all the way back to the halfway line, where Kennedy will give it to Danny Whitehead, and Whittaker now will pick it up. Whittaker surges forwards, gets it to Durrell. Durrell on the edge of the area with Winter in front of him, shoots, goes for the far corner, and it's going to fall for one of the Macclesfield players. It's cleared. Home fans appeal optimistically for a penalty, but nothing is given. Baba will cross towards the far post. Decent ball out. Another very good header by Seth Nana Tramassi to clear it. Got about 40 yards on that with his head. And Macclesfield have been forced to go all the way back to Jalal. And Lowe will pick it up deep inside his own half, and he'll give it to Kennedy. Mason still sitting very deep here. To say it's worked so far. Good interception by Jack Paxman. And not the greatest of clearances there by Winter. But Macclesfield will pick it up with Whittaker. Still just about, he's advancing forward now towards the edge of the area. It's a nice flick play to Durrell. He's in the right wing position. And there's a deep cross towards the far side. Tramassi once again heads it clear. Picked up by Hancocks on the far side. It'll go out for a Macclesfield throw. We've got 4 minutes of normal time left here. Macclesfield 1, Maidstone United 4. You did hear that correctly. Maidstone went 4-0 up. Macclesfield have pulled one back. But really, it's the most impressive away performance by a Maidstone side in at least 2 years, I would suggest, and possibly quite a bit longer.
I think maybe the last time, I didn't go to this game. I think the last time Mason played this well was maybe Dagenham away last year.
Yes.
When we beat them 2-0.
Yeah, a very good performance, so not necessarily reflected in the scoreline. And of course, that perfectly legitimate goal disallowed after what was about 2 hours of discussion, it seemed. And Kennedy for the home side there has just smashed the football into the advertising hoardings. Henman situation. Remember when Tim Henman got into trouble for smashing a tennis ball and it hit a ball girl, I think it was. And he's a bit lucky he didn't hit anybody in the crowd with that.
Rio Ferdinand did something like that as well when he was playing for Manchester United.
Yes,
I mean, their fans.
Yes, he did apologise, didn't he? But I can understand it. If you were a Macclesfield player, it must be infuriating to be in this situation. Here come Macclesfield again, but it's a poor pass. And it's going to go out for a Mason goal kick. Winter's not going to help them get the ball back, but there are ball boys down there on the far side, and the ball is rolled back to Lee Morgan. So we have another exodus now. Lots of Macclesfield fans are leaving. I think that the goal briefly stemmed the flow of people leaving. A lot of people, to be fair, went at 4-0, and I've never actually left a game early, but I can understand why you would go at 4-0.
Yeah, I think it's when you see some people like games where they leave after like 1-0 down or something like that. But yeah, 4-1 with a few minutes left, you can kind of understand a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot. It certainly happens at our ground. You get people leaving when there's still only a goal in it, and they just chuck the towel in. And I always think, if you've got 10 minutes left, if you score a goal with 10 minutes left and you're only 2-0 down, you've got every chance. Just looking at Joe Anderson limping in front of us, it looks like he's got an ice pack on his ankle. And he's got his boot off, and he's certainly got some sort of strapping on there. So he's obviously picked up some sort of knock, and he's returning to the tunnel. So Morgan is taking his time over this, and the referee is not actually given anything. Now he's given a free kick because
Well, surely got to be a yellow carded because he was standing inside his box early when you can't do that.
But he's the sort of player that enjoys that, isn't he, Lee Morgan? He likes a bit of banter, as they say. Here come Maidstone. Jack Richards, edge of the area, plays it back to Prestige, to Stuart Lewis. Maidstone just keeping possession now, and Lewis has been fouled. And that is, well, we've just seen the board go up, and there will be 4 additional minutes here at Moss Road. So, if you were an ultra pessimist, you'd just say that's 1 goal per minute and Macclesfield could turn this round.
Yeah, it's never over till it's over, is it? I think when we get to 2 minutes, I'll start relaxing.
Yes. Well, it depends. If you've got a kind of Barcelona PSG referee to hand, I think that can make it a little bit easier, can't it? Might chuck in the odd penalty for you. So anyway, here's Tuamasi. Here's Prestige. Back to Tuamasi. Tuamasi forward, looking for Paxman. Edge of the area. Good header by Kennedy to partially clear it, but it's going to go out of play for a Maidstone throw. And one of the added minutes has gone already. I've got to say, actually, the thing about the Maidstone fans over there, I think even if we were losing 4-1, they'd probably still be drumming and singing because they're in that kind of mood. But anyway, here comes Jack Richards towards the edge of the area, plays it through to Piggott, and Piggott's offside. And he's shot wide anyway. That was very nearly a 5th there. I think Piggott...
I would have fancied Jack Richards there to have a go himself, to be honest. I mean, he was a little bit spacer, but I think Zabon Hines is also having a complaint that didn't play for him, and you can kind of understand that because he'll want his hat-trick, won't he?
Yeah. There aren't that many people left here now. It's got to be said the home end, such as it is rapidly emptying. We've got about 2.5 minutes left of added time here. Maidstone coaching staff are packing up their bags already, getting ready for the long drive back. So we were saying on the way up, it is always just that little bit easier when you've won, and when you've won as handsomely as it looks like Maidstone are going to win here today, hopefully it'll be a nice easy trek back. We'll see. We'll try and avoid the M6, I think. Here come Macclesfield once again, not chucking in the towel quite yet. There's Whittaker on the edge of the area. Ball goes out wide, and Lewis will intercept. Paxman has to be careful. Torre works it out wide again. The ball's going to be chipped towards the far post, where Winter it is heads it up in the air, and in the end Lee Morgan has to fist it clear, and it'll be a Macclesfield corner. But, really, you'd have to say it'll be academic at this stage, but it's funny, isn't it, when you've beaten it. I remember when we played Chester last year, it was 4-2 in the end. It was so comprehensive at the end when Chester was sort of getting back into it. It sort of spoiled it slightly, I thought.
I mean, you can't get too greedy, but I think at 4-0, I mean, like you'll say at 4-0, I think it would have been a perfect way for us. But
I've got to say, it's one of those.
I think Jay will be a little bit disappointed we haven't kept the clean sheet this afternoon.
It's one of those days where it's. Yeah, you're sort of pinching yourself, aren't you, to think that this is the scoreline. Macclesfield won, Maidstone 4.
I mean, you just
for those of you that have just joined us.
Well, you just have to take into account what happened last year when we lost 3-0 down here.
Yeah.
And it's a reverse, the complete reverse today.
And really, fully deserved. It might have been half a shout for a Macclesfield penalty in the second half, but you can't argue with the result, with the way that Maidstone are taking their chances. And here comes Zabon Hines, the match winner himself, breaking forward. Piggott still hungry for another goal. Plays it in towards Reece Prestige instead. And Maidstone will have a corner here. We're in the final minute of added time. The game situation is such they're going to take it short. And any second now the final whistle is going to blow. We've had 4 minutes. There's a cry of you don't know what you're doing going up from the home fans, and that is the final whistle. Well, ladies and gentlemen, You've just been listening to one of the most comprehensive Maidstone victories away from home in a number of years. The final score here, Macclesfield Town 1, Maidstone United 4. First half goals from Zabon Hines and from Alex Winter, followed by a second half deflected strike from Zabon Hines. An almost freak goal from Joe Piggott, and then finally Macclesfield pull one back towards the end. But really, it's just been a comprehensive victory for the Stones.